Hey Elvis, so can you give everybody a quick introduction, please, to you?
Yeah, my name is Elvis Fatović. I am head coach of Australian men's national team, uh, ex-player of Jug Dubrovnik and Croatian national team, and now I'm 8 year in March will be 8 year. Next year will be 8 year that I'm in Australia.
Very good. And how are you managing during this crisis? What are you doing to keep yourself active?
Well, not much. So at the moment, like this Zoom teleconference is the biggest friend of all of us.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the meetings, everything going through that. But during the day, probably actually, to be honest, maybe I'm even more physically active than usually because I try to walk, run, or maybe do some exercise every day, and I don't have a good excuse to say I don't have a time.
And are you working with the Australian team?
Yes, we're working, but at this stage we can't do anything because all the facilities are closed. So everyone's staying at home and they're doing exercise what they are able to do.
Yeah. What kind of stuff is that? Just like press ups, squats, stuff like this?
Depends. We give them some gears to do, but for example, some of them because not all the beaches are closed, so some of them still have access to the water. So
Okay.
potentially even they can swim. So some of them they're doing like TRX or some other exercise. So we try to implement more things as we can, but to be honest, we are still on the beginning of that process.
Mm. And do you have any plan going forward now that the crisis is hit, like with the Olympics in the future, or is it kind of depending on how everything goes?
uh, it's hard to have some exact plans because it's so many uncertainty at this stage,
Hmm.
and for sure that we try to create our plans according to some dates that we had this year, but absolutely it's hard in this moment to say anything because we don't know how long this will go, how long we'll be in this some kind of quarantine, and same is for the rest of the world. So at this stage, probably for the first time, everyone is are on the same position.
Yeah.
And again, after that, many things depends about the calendars. So when will be the Olympic qualification? But also, we still don't know when will be the World Championship. But at this stage, I don't think that many people think about that because definitely priority is now well-being
Yeah,
of the athletes' health and the things.
of course. Um, how did you start playing water polo?
Well, as you can see behind me, that's the place where I start to play water polo. I grew up in Cavtat, one
Yeah.
small place next to Dubrovnik. It's a place with 3,000 people, and but you have a seven Olympic medalists from that place. So the water polo or brass orchestra, that was the only option when I was a kid. Of course, I tried both things, and after that it was always also normal like pathway if you are a little more talented, but pretty much majority of the kids they finish in Jug Dubrovnik, and then everyone knows the story about Jug Dubrovnik. But it's really pool of the talented kids coming from there, like Sukno, Obradović, Bošković, so many great Balić, so many great players coming from there. So Luko Veslić, one of the greatest goalkeeper ever. So I don't know, I will probably miss someone. So
Mm.
and still now the kids coming from that place.
Mm. And did you have an icon when you were growing up? Someone you loved, your favorite player?
Of course, because when I was a kid, when I was around 10, on that time, Jug Dubrovnik, they become first time in the history champions of Europe. So that was generation of Juho, Sukno, Milat, Lozica, you know. So absolutely they were our idols because on that time, National League played during the summer, and the old pool was always packed, which was around 4 or 5,000 people. So it was easy to find talent idols on that time.
And then when you stopped playing, did you go straight into coaching?
Well, yeah. I started immediately. So I think I finished my playing career in June 2007, and then in the end of August, beginning of September, I already start to work with the juniors, and I was a coach of the junior team in Jug 1 year, and then after 1 year I become the head coach of the senior squad.
Good. And can you think of I'm sure you have many, your favorite tournament as a player? I'm sure you have loads of different ones to pick from.
Definitely on the club level, that absolutely, and probably the peak of the career of my career, and probably many of my teammates, was Champions Leagues in Final Four in 2001 in Dubrovnik, when we won the second time in the club's history the Champions League, and it was like really atmosphere. I don't know if I ever saw the atmosphere like that in Waterpolo game. And in semi-final we play against Becce. That was the team from Serbia and Montenegro, and also for them, I think, if I remember, 2 Hungarian players were there. One was our ex player Tamás Malnar and Biros, and it was like crazy. They were like really the strongest team probably in that time in the world, because in 2 years they didn't lost one game except that semi-final. So and then later after that we play final again, one game with the overtime, and we won against Olympiacos, and it was really in that time it was really pleasure to be part of the youth.
And you went to Olympics as well as a player?
Yeah, I was as a player twice in the Olympics, but I don't have such a great memory from the Olympics, especially the first one in Sydney. I mean, I had a great memory as Olympics because the organization and everything properly. That's the first time when I fall in love with Australia, and everything was absolutely perfect till the quarterfinal, because we played excellent that tournament. We beat even later Olympic champion Hungary in our group. We played draw with the Serbia and Montenegro, but then half of the team had flu, and we lost in quarterfinal against Spain, and that was like big disappointment for us. And pretty much the same was in the 4 years later in Athens, when after the first game we were without 3 players, and one with the broken ribs, and 2 with the problems with the ear. So I didn't have such a great memories as a player from the Olympics.
But as a coach, you had a good memory of the Olympics?
Definitely, and the best memory was when we were in London. I was assistant coach to Ratko with Croatia. We won the gold Olympic medal, and that was probably the biggest success that I was part of that. And also it was a nice experience in Rio with the Australian national team, and I hope even better memory we will have on the next Olympic Games.
And before London you were in Dublin, is that right?
Correct. We were there, and that was one of the step towards the gold Olympic medal, and we played one really strong tournament there, and we won on that tournament, and that was our first trip to Dublin, and we really enjoyed there.
Yeah, good.
Great pool, great facilities. I remember great beer, whiskeys, everything.
The important things.
Yeah.
And do you think Ratko Rudić is one of the best coaches you worked with?
Oh, well, when you see how many medals he won in his career, so he's probably one of the best coach ever in any sport. So for someone who won 4 Olympic medals, gold Olympic medal with the 3 different national teams, so there's no much doubt about that. And it was really pleasure to be around the team that he ran, and to learn from the best one.
And what do you think is the most important aspect of being a coach, if you were to give advice to coaches?
Well, definitely passion is one of the biggest thing, and I think that's also one of the important things for the people who are already coaches, and to recognize who has that potential to be the coach, because I believe that we can easily recognize who has a potential to be a coach, and and maybe to try to give some advice and maybe to canalize him towards that way to try to start that. And absolutely, playing player's career is helpful, but not the most important thing. Absolutely, that's it's many study about, because the Waterpolo changing like every year, it's something different. And in the end of the day, every couple of years we're changing the rules. So you must be adaptive for all those things. So my opinion is first of all that you need to have that love and passion for the sport, and then because sport is simple. So if you just study a little more, absolutely, that many people can be successful.
How did you find the new rules with the Australian team? Did you adapt well to them?
But first of all, my opinion that the good players will always adapt easy on the rules, no matter what we decide. Personally, I think they are good. They bring a little bit more creative, faster game than was before. I believe that everyone still needed time to adapt all these things, and I think that we still didn't. In the end of the day, we just played that 1 year. Mm-hmm. So we still didn't took all the advantage what we potentially can have from these new rules. But if you ask me about Australia, I believe that definitely they suit us, because we like aggressive Waterpolo. We like Waterpolo with a lot of movement, and that's definitely something which is very, very important in these new rules.
And last question, can you pick any games to watch for kids while they're all sitting at home, don't have anything to do? Would you recommend any games to go back and watch?
Yes, when you ask me about my favorite game, then I will suggest you that one. That's with the old rules, but I think it's very interesting to watch, and I think it's possible to find on YouTube as well. That's Jug Beče from 2001 semi-final of the Champions League.
Perfect. And any modern games then from recent times?
Any modern games? I believe it's definitely from any world champs and any other big competition you can find. But for me, very interesting game, the last one, and especially with the circumstances, with the weather circumstances, is the final of the World League in Belgrade between Serbia and Croatia. It was like very, very interesting game to watch, and with all that rain, and when Croatia was up by 3-4 goals, and then Serbia was up, so many changes. So I think it's super interesting to watch.
Great, Elvis. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it, and we hope everything stays safe with you back home.
Thank you. Good luck, and hopefully see you in Dublin again.
Absolutely. Thank you.